Good morning once again, and welcome to another edition of Copyright Connect, your weekly program on copyright awareness, creativity, and innovation. Proudly brought to you by the Nigeria Copyright Commission, NCC. Wherever you're listening from, your home, your office, your vehicle, your shop, your school or studio, thanks for joining us. We appreciate every Tuesday you joining us on the program Copyright Connect. Today's program concerns everyone who creates, who uses, shares, or enjoys creative work. Our topic is copyright infringement, the silent killer of creativity. What constitutes copyright infringement? Many people may ask, if I found a social media, can I repost it? If I found a content on the social media, is it okay for me to repost it? Can I upload a movie to my YouTube channel? Can I use someone else's music in my advert? If I don't make money from it, can it still be copyright infringement? The Copyright Act 2022 provides the legal framework for answering these and many questions. Please stay with us. Let's quickly do a recap of what we did last week. We discussed the rights of broadcasting organizations. We learned that broadcasts enjoy copyright protection and that paying for a subscription does not automatically give anyone the right to rebroadcast, record, upload, or commercially exploit broadcast content without the necessary authorization. Should I take that again? Last week we said the rights of broadcasting organization. We talked generally about it. And we learned that broadcasts enjoy copyright protection and that paying for a subscription does not automatically give anyone the right to rebroadcast, record, upload, or commercially exploit broadcast content without the necessary authorization. Today, we take the discussion a further step. What happens when someone uses a copyrighted work without the permission of the copyright owner and outside the exceptions permitted by law? Remember last week we talked about the exceptions to the rules. That's why copyright infringement comes in when you go outside the law, especially when you go outside of the exceptions to the rules. Let's share its story, a scenario. Amaka owns a small phone accessory shop. To attract customers, she started copying newly released Nigerian movies into flash drives and memory cards. She also downloaded popular music albums and sold copies at discounted prices. One day, someone asked her, "Madam, do you have permission from the copyright owner to copy and sell these works?" Amaka laughed and replied, "Everybody does it. Besides, the movies are already online. But what right does she have?" Of course, she's got no right. The fact that a work is available online does not automatically mean that it's free to copy or distribute. What Amaka considered an ordinary business activity could amount to copyright infringement and punishable by law. And behind every movie, every song, every book, or other creative work of people invest their talent. They invest their time, they've invested their skills, they've invested resources before creating it. So when their works are unlawfully copied or exploited, their ability to earn from their creativity is affected. That is why copyright infringement can quietly become a silent killer of creativity. Let me take that again for emphasis sake. Copyright infringement can quietly become a silent killer of creativity. Let me try and introduce today's topic before I introduce my guest. She's right there waiting to discuss this topic with us. Today's discussion is important for musicians, for authors, for filmmakers, for photographers, for software developers, for graphic designers, for students, for teachers, churches, mosques, businesses, digital content creators, and broadcasters, and everyone who copies, who uploads, who downloads, shares, or uses creative work. Understanding copyright infringement helps us protect creativity. It helps us respect creators and avoid unlawful use of protected works. Joining us this morning on Copyright Connect is a copyright expert. My guest this morning is from the Nigerian Copyright Commission, and she will be joining us from Lagos. Okay, at this very juncture, it's time for me to introduce our guest. She's in Lagos and she's waiting on the other line to contribute to today's questions, today's discussion. If you have questions, start jotting them down for our expert. She's Linda Alpheus. She's the director, NCC Lagos Command. Because I was told last week that they are now commandants. She's the Lagos commandant, Mrs. Linda Alpheus. Good morning and thanks for joining us on Copyright Connect on Oxygen FM 96.9.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to enlighten Nigerians on copyright.
Thank you, Commandant. Good morning. All right, let's go straight because before we know it, our time, I don't know how that time flies. Many people hear the phrase copyright infringement, but don't really understand what it means. Can you please shed more light on it? What exactly constitutes copyright infringement?
Thank you very much for the question. In simple terms, copyright infringement occurs when a person, without the authorization of the copyright owner and outside the applicable exceptions under the Copyright Act, carries out an act which the law reserves exclusively for the copyright owner. Now, the Act gives the copyright owner some exclusive rights over their works. Depending on the nature of the work, these rights include rights of reproduction, right of publication, right of distribution, right to broadcast, right to communicate the work in public, adapt the work, and right to make the work available in the public such that members of the public can choose their own time, independent time or place where they can listen or access that work. So these are the rights that are reserved for the copyright owner. So whenever a person exercises any of these acts, contrary to the right of the copyright owner and without the authorization of the copyright owner, the person has infringed on the copyright owner's rights.
Many Nigerians use the words piracy and copyright infringement interchangeably. Are they the same?
No. Copyright piracy and copyright infringement are not the same. Okay. Actually, piracy is a part of infringement. Okay. The word infringement is a broad version. Yeah, it's much broader. Piracy is a part of copyright infringement.
Okay.
For example, when someone uploads another person's photograph on his or her space without authorization, you have infringed the right of the copyright owner. now using pirated music also in a commercial advertisement without the authorization of the copyright owner. Remember, I said commercial. You are using it for commercial purposes. It means you are going to make money
from it.
That is piracy. That is piracy. Okay. So most of the time, the underlining word is
money.
The purpose of which money. You are making money out of the work. So whenever you are making money out of a pirated work without the authorization of the copyright owner, you are apparently
that's piracy.
Piracy, yes. And most of the time too, when you commit piracy, the Copyright Commission will prosecute you for piracy.
Now you're still moving on.
Yes.
On those things that constitute.
I was going to.
Yes.
Piracy. I was also going to give some other examples. For example, producing or copying and selling works that belongs to another person. You know, you recopy it, you reproduce it, and you are selling it. You are making money out of it. That is piracy. Then when you also expose for sale works that belong to another person, you expose them for sale. That is piracy.
All right.
Like I mentioned earlier, piracy is a part of infringement. The infringement part is broader than piracy.
So infringement constitutes other offenses. Yes, piracy is just one of them.
Just one of the offenses.
Yes. Okay. Now let's bring this closer to everyday life. Can you give us examples of activities that may constitute infringement? Now we know the piracy involves economic benefits. What other things, what other offenses can we, classify as infringement?
Yes, you can commit copyright infringement when you do acts that are reserved for the copyright owner, but not strictly for money. You probably upload somebody else's work in your space. You are not doing it for money. You just maybe uploaded it. You did not intend to make money out of it, or you upload part, a substantial part. You did not intend to make money out of it. That you have infringed on the right of the owner because you were not authorized by law to do that. You are not authorized. Those things are exclusive rights of the copyright owner.
Neither did you take permission from the owner.
You did not take permission. The owner did not authorize you. You did not take permission from him. You have infringed on the rights of the owner.
Okay. Is that all?
Yeah, no, there are so many examples, actually. There are so many examples of infringement of copyright that are not necessarily piracy. Like I mentioned, the underlining part, you always have to ask yourself, what you have done, is it one of the exclusive rights of the copyright owner? Does it fall under one of the exceptions? Because there are actually some exceptions to use of copyright works. Where
yes, we did that last week.
The permission of the copyright owner. So if what you have done is not one of the acts that are exclusively, is not under an exception, and it is an act that is exclusively reserved for the copyright owner, you have infringed on the right of the owner. Whether you are making money out of it or not, it does not matter.
Some people say, I wasn't making money from it, so it isn't copyright infringement. Is that correct?
Yes, whether you make money out of it or not, so long as, like I said earlier, you have done something, one of the acts that are reserved for the copyright owner, you have done it, and you did not get the permission of the copyright owner to do that. It is an infringement. So the issue of whether you made money or not does not necessarily mean it's not an infringement. You may not have made money, but you have done an act exclusively reserved by law for the copyright owner, and it does not fall under one of the exceptions. It is an infringement.
So the law recognizes exceptions.
Yes, of course, there are exceptions under the law.
Hello? I thought you would please educate us further on these exceptions.
Under the law.
Yes.
There are exceptions under the law. For example, fair use. So when you have used, there's something called fair use, when you have used a person's work, and the law provides exceptions, like I mentioned earlier. Some of those exceptions include fair dealing. Fair dealing. There's something called fair dealing. And when you are talking about fair dealing, it includes use for when you use a work for private use. You have not made money, you have not distributed it to anybody, you used it for yourself for private use. That is one of the exceptions under fair dealing. Then there's also parody or satire, or when you use a work for criticism or for non-commercial research or for private study or criticism. When you have used a work for these purposes, which I have mentioned, they fall under the fair dealing. So those are some of the exceptions that the law has given to you to use works without the authorization of the copyright owner.
Now,
so this fair dealing is provided for in section 20 of the copyright law. So fair dealing can be one of the exceptions.
Now, a quick question. When you're talking about the exceptions and fair dealing, I'm looking at a scenario where students who are on research for research purposes, they can use the book that can fall under fair dealing, and it can be an exception.
Yes, when you have used the work for research purposes, and it's not commercial, it's non-commercial research, or for private study, it falls under fair dealing. And I was going to say also that when you are talking about fair dealing, there are some things that the law will take into consideration to determine whether a work is actually fair dealing. For example, the purpose of the use, the character of the use, the nature of the use, the quality of the use, whether you use a whole part of the work, and also the use you have made of the work. Does it affect the market value of that work? So these are the four categories that the law will look at to determine whether something is actually fair
dealing.
So when you are using a work for private research that is non-commercial,
it's fair dealing.
Under fair dealing.
Okay. Now, considering as you were talking, a scenario just bumped into my head. For instance, I'm on a research work, and I used someone else's work in preparing my research. And fortunately for me, my research got attention of some people who are willing to pay me for it. What do I do? Am I infringing?
Let me just be quick to mention that when you are using somebody's work for research, please always acknowledge the source of that work. Okay. It is very important that you attribute the work to the person, to the source where you got it from. So when you are there was a proper attribution, and I've mentioned the other four things that would be considered for it to fall under fair dealing. So long as it's for private research and it's for non-commercial research, and you acknowledge you attributed the work to the source where you got it from, it will fall under fair dealing.
Now, you've not answered my question, madam.
Sorry, what's the question?
I did the research with intention of just research purpose, but unfortunately, or fortunately for me, I got attention of people who are willing to pay me for that research, and I got money. But I didn't set out to use it for commercial purpose in the first place. Is that an infringement? Am I liable?
If so long as there has been commercial use, you have made money out of that research, it is no longer fair dealing. So the underlying question is, did you use it for a commercial purpose?
I didn't set out to use it for commercial purpose.
You didn't set out to use it for commercial
purpose. I did it for strictly academic along the line, and I acknowledged, I attributed the owner of that work. But along the line, I got attention of people who paid me for it.
Yeah, at the time you used it, it wasn't for commercial.
It wasn't for commercial purpose. Yes.
Include all the other four points I have mentioned. But somewhere later along the line,
yes,
you got compensated.
Yes.
I will say that it is fair dealing because as at the time you used it, there was no intention to use it for a commercial purpose.
Yes.
Maybe sometime 2-3 years down the line,
yes,
you got compensated for it.
Yes.
I would say it falls under fair dealing because there was no intention to use it for commercial purposes. The commercial aspect of it came
later, much later.
Much later. No, I will categorize it as fair dealing.
So if the owner of that work sues me, how do I defend myself?
Well, you will have to say that this work was not used for commercial purposes, At the time you were doing this research, for example, you are a student in a
Yes.
university,
Yes.
you are doing a research for your project, and along the line you cited, you attributed properly that you picked a line, and you did not use a substantial part of that work. You just picked something from that work, and the purpose for which you used the work did not affect the commercial value of the work, the original work where you took it from. You met all these 4 categories. I will say that you'll be able to defend yourself because there was no intention to use it for commercial purposes. The commercial came much later after the work had been compensated.
Okay. Thank you
after
so
the
much.
work
Has been done, has been completed.
Yeah.
In fact, much years later.
Yeah. Years later. So I don't think the person
has
because
infringed.
the purpose is always important in
okay.
everything we do.
The
At
motive.
the time you use this work, what was your motive? What was your purpose? It was purely for private research. But years down the line, somebody becomes interested, sees it as something valuable, and they want to pay you to be able to use your work because they are no longer using it, not for private research anymore. They want to use it for something commercial also. No, it is still fair use because the time you use that work is important. The purpose for which you use that work is important.
Thank you so much. My guest on Copyright Connect this morning has been Linda Alpheus, the Director, NCC Lagos Command. She's the Commandant in charge of the Nigeria Copyright Commission in Lagos. And we've been talking about infringement. What does infringement, copyright infringement, what does it mean? What are those offenses or mistakes or the little act that constitutes infringement? Quickly, our guest is still standing by for more questions, but I'll quickly go over and take the copyright question for this week. Here is today's copyright question for the week. Which of these activities may amount to copyright infringement when done without authorization and where no statutory exception applies? A is uploading a complete movie to YouTube. B, selling unauthorized copies of music. C, using a copyrighted photograph in an advertisement without permission. D, all of the above. Think about the question. Before the end of the program, I'll look out for who got the question correct, and I promise you there's something you will take home. We'll reveal it before the end of today's program. Now, did you know that copyright infringement is not limited to the traditional sale of pirated CDs, DVDs, or books? Depending on the circumstances, it may include unauthorized acts such as reproducing a copyrighted work, distributing unauthorized copies, communicating a protected work to the public without authorization, making a protected work available to the public online without authorization, and uploading or sharing protected content without the necessary permission. The internet has made creative works easier to access, but it has not made the copyright disappear. This tells us that yes, the internet is open for us to go there, access information, access people's creative ingenuity, but it does not give you the right to use it without permission. If you use anybody's creative work without permission, you are committing a copyright infringement and you are liable. You will be liable. On Copyright Connect this morning, we've been speaking with Linda Alpheus, the Director, NCC Lagos Command. She's the Commandant in charge of the Nigeria Copyright Commission in Lagos State. Now, copyright myths and facts. It is a myth that if it's on the internet, it's free to use. That is a myth. But the fact is, it is not true. The fact that a creative work is available on the internet does not by itself mean that it is free to copy, reproduce, distribute, communicate to the public, or make available online. Copyright protection continues to apply to eligible works regardless of whether they are shared online or offline. NCC's current guideline, the Nigeria Copyright Commission's current guideline, similarly explained that protected works include literary, artistic, and musical works, films, sound recordings, and broadcast, that ideas and concept themselves are not protected. Okay, I'm quickly going to go back to my guest, Linda Alpheus. She's still standing by to answer more questions. Another scenario just bumped in. I got a question right now, and the person says that a group of friends, they came together to do a production. Now, they did the production some years, like 3 years before, and one of the members of the group, Linda, please, are you there?
Yes, I'm with you.
Are you listening?
I'm listening.
All right, because I want you to get the scenario correctly before you can tell us what to do. A group of friends, they did a production together, and one of them, years after, like 3 years after, wanted to have an independent production. Now used a part of the production that they did together with his friends. Unfortunately, the two friends are now angry and they are taking him to court. That it is an infringement. Is that an infringement? Because he was part of the original owners. Is that an infringement?
Let me start by saying, when a group of people do a work together, it is called joint ownership. So the group, every member of the group, they all have copyright in that work. So now the party, let's say Mr. A, wants to have an independent work, and he used a substantial part of the work, or the original work, in his new work. He's supposed to have gotten permission from his the other members of the group, because the original work, the first work that was done, is a work that belongs to each and every one of them. Although the Copyright Act provides that each person is entitled to exploit his own part. So if probably it is a movie, and in the movie what he did was to sing. He sang a solo, which belongs to him. He's entitled to exploit that
reusing his solo.
If using the whole of the work, which belongs to each and every one of them, he's supposed to have gotten authorization from them.
Okay.
And they are also entitled to a fair remuneration from the work. If he's exploiting his own individual contribution, like I mentioned, an example, it's a movie, but in the movie he sang a song, and the original movie, all the work belongs to all three of them. Let's say there are three of them, but he sang a solo. He's entitled to exploit that his solo further. But if he's using something much more than that, his own individual contribution, he's supposed to carry all three along.
Now, unfortunately for this person, and the person who sent in the message said it is not even a solo, it's like one of the soundtrack. He just wanted to use one of the soundtrack, because so there is no how he could lay, not a single person can lay claim to that instrumental, but the others are disagreeing that he cannot reuse. Unfortunately for them, they had no prior agreement as to these issues. How will the NCC advise them?
These things usually happen where there are no clear-cut agreements. So since it is something that they all did together, is a joint work, he's supposed to have gotten authorization from the other members of that group who did the work together, because it is not a solo work. So what they will do is they will have to come to an agreement on the sharing formula. He will have to give them just remuneration for the efforts they have put into the song for him to continue to use the song.
Wow. So they are entitled to something in his own solo production now.
Yes, but let me be quick to say also that that is own solo production. Even if it has infringed somebody else's work, he's still entitled to copyright protection.
Okay.
So that solo work, somebody cannot say, oh, after all, you infringed on other people's copyright, so I must infringe on your own. No, that work is also entitled to copyright protection, despite the fact that it was derived from infringing on another person's copyright.
So he has actually infringed. I still don't believe that he has infringed because he was a part of that production. Well, law is law.
Yeah, he was a part of that production, but it is not for him alone. It
to
is
decide.
not a solo performance. There are let me just say three, maybe there are much more than. There are about three people.
Yes, there are actually
the
three.
Copyright in that particular work. And since there were no clear-cut agreements, they all put effort into making that one work. The copyright belongs to all of them. So if one of them wants to use that work, it should be with the authorization or with the agreement of the other parties who are also co-copyright owners of the work.
That is very clear. Thank you so much, Linda Alfios, Director, NCC Lagos State Command, on Copyright Connect today on Oxygen FM 96.9. Now, I'm still coming back to you, Linda, before we wrap up the program. But let me quickly take the copyright tip for the week. Before copying, uploading, sharing, reposting, or commercially using another person's creative work, ask yourself, do I have the copyright owner's authorization, or does the Copyright Act permit use? If you are not sure, don't assume. Ask first. The message is respect creativity, respect copyright. Before we wrap up today's program, before we go, let's quickly take a recap. Copyright infringement may occur when a person exercises a right reserved for the copyright owner without authorization and outside an applicable statutory exception. Copyright infringement can occur both offline and offline. My guest on the program, Linda Alfios, has also said that piracy is commonly associated with certain forms of unauthorized copying and exploitation, but copyright infringement is broader. Making money is not the first test for determining whether an unauthorized use infringes copyright. The Copyright Act provides important exceptions, including specified forms of fair dealing. It specifies forms of fair dealing, but these exceptions have conditions and also limitations. The simple lesson is, don't copy first and ask questions later. Ask first before you do it. So, get the necessary information about the creative work you are about to use or reuse. Get information about it. If you are not clear, the Nigeria Copyright Commission is always available to answer your questions and direct us or redirect us to do the right thing. Remember the question we asked earlier. Which of these activities may amount to copyright infringement when done without authorization and where no statutory exception applies? The correct answer is all of the above. When you upload a complete movie to YouTube, when you sell unauthorized copies of music, using a copyrighted photograph in an advertisement without permission, and the three are correct. All of the above. Everything constitutes copyright infringement. Back to my guest, Linda. Finally, before we go on the program. Hello, Linda, are you still there?
Yes, I'm with you.
All right, but finally, before we go, you just educate the members of the public once again, just in quick words, what they should look out for so that they will not fall victim of infringement and be liable to copyright law?
So for the members of the public, I will say to you, please respect copyright. Somebody somewhere has put in effort into making the work. Please respect copyright so that copyright owners, creators can be encouraged to create more. Then always watch out when you hear it is free. When somebody offers it to you, you can download free, you can watch for free, you can do this for free. That is when you should be careful. Copyright works are not supposed to be free. The law has made provision for protection of the copyright owners so that they can make just remuneration for their creative efforts. So as much as possible, please avoid all this free download, free upload. Whenever they tell you it is free, be very careful. And when you hear take it for free, please, one thing you should tell yourself or say to whoever is offering it to you, say to them, I cannot take it. Oh no. So that is the word for members of the public. And for the creatives, I would say, please monitor your works. Whenever you create work, watch out, look after your works, make sure that you are following your work if you have put it on the online space, and also register your work with the Nigerian Copyright Commission. When you register your work, it is a public document that shows the fact that you are the owner of this work. And thankfully too, the Copyright Act 2022 support or has given legal backing to registration of copyright works. So please register your works and monitor your works so that they will not be infringed.
What does it take to register?
Oh, it's not much. You just you can even do it on your own. Visit our website and upload your work depending on the category of work. If it is a musical work or a literary work, you upload it on the online space, fill the necessary form. It is not a huge, just a token that you pay to the
commission
account, and then you upload your work, and the registration is seamless. It's fortunately something you can even do for yourself
on your
online.
phone.
So registration is very simple and seamless now. So just visit www.copyright.gov.ng. You can do it yourself.
Thank you so much, Linda Alpheus, the Director, NCC Lagos State Command. Thank you for joining us on Oxygen FM 96.9 Copyright Connect today.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure joining you.
Thank you so much. And before we go, let me quickly say the call to action. This week, we challenge you to do 5 simple things. First, before you copy, ask. If you want to use another person's creative work, obtain the necessary permission or establish your intended use as is permitted by law. Second thing is, don't assume that online means free. A photograph, song, film, article, or video found on social media or a website may still be protected by copyright. Number 3, don't buy or distribute pirated materials. Choose legitimate sources and support the people behind the creative works that you enjoy. The number 4 is don't upload or share complete copyrighted works without authorization. This applies whether you're sharing them on WhatsApp, on YouTube, on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram, or any other platform at that. And the last one is, if you encounter suspected piracy or copyright infringement, report it to the Nigeria Copyright Commission ASAP through the official channels. NCC copyright offices for inquiries, copyright assistance or reports. Contact the Nigeria Copyright Commission through its official channels. Email info@copyright.gov.ng. I'll take that again, info@copyright.gov.ng. Anti-piracy hotline 0800 4/piracy. Again, 0800 /4/piracy. No, it's not slash, it's hyphen. 080 -4-piracy. Headquarters, Federal Secretariat, Abuja, FCT, Nigeria. Copyright Office, Nigeria. Don't be a part of the problem, be part of the solution. Create, respect, ask, and protect. Thank you for spending time with us on Copyright Connect today on Oxygen FM 96.9. Don't forget, if it's worth creating, it is worth protecting. My name is Tolu Adekwajo. Please join us again next time. Tuesday is another date. Thank you for joining us. Good afternoon.
96.9. Spin around the block everywhere you go. See, now the air you bring, not just the radio. 96.9, 96.9. Oh, oxygen. 96.9, 96.9. Oh, oxygen. 96.9, 96.9. Oh, oxygen. 96.9, 96.9. Oh.
Oxygen FM 96.9. Inform, inspire, ignite.
Oxygen 96.9 FM rédíò tó milẹ̀ tìtìtì. Ọ̀gánikan láwùjọ òkúta. Ilé rédíò tó ní ẹ̀mí titun. Ibẹ̀ láti sọ̀rọ̀ ìmọ̀ àti ìlera. Pẹ̀lú ìdàgbàsókè fún gbogbo ènìyàn má gbé kúrò. Kókà. Oxygen 96.9 FM. Oxygen 96.9 FM. Wọ́n bẹ̀ ní ọ̀tàn ilẹ̀ Ìbàdàn sí gbogbo lẹ́kàrọ̀ òjíire. Oxygen 96.9 FM. Fún ìròyìn tó péye lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀, eré ìdárayá àtòrin lóríṣiríṣi. Oxygen 96.9 FM níbi tí ìmọ̀ tó ti ń di agbára. Oxygen 96.9 FM.
ìròyìn aago mọ́kànlá la mú wá sí etí ìgbọ̀yín láti ìkànnì Oxygen 96.9 FM. Ṣáájú ẹ gbọ́ àwọn kókó inú ìròyìn náà. alábòjútó àti olórí lóbìnrin èyí tó jẹ́ olùṣàkóso ti ọdún Ọ̀ṣun Òṣogbo ṣe àtìlẹ́yìn fún arúgbá obìnrin ọmọ ọdún 10 èyí tó rúgbá lọ́dún tí a wà yìí lẹ́yìn tí àwọn ènìyàn wí pé ìwà ìṣínilọ́nà ni ó jẹ́ láti gbé ìgbàrú ọmọ ọdún 10. Ìjọba àpapọ̀ ń ṣiṣẹ́ tọ gbígbé nǹkan ọ̀sìn lárugẹ sí lẹ́ka ti nǹkan ọ̀sìn ti orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà. Àwọn ọlọ́pàá gba ènìyàn 15 sílẹ̀ lákàtà àwọn ajínigbé wọ́n sì pa àwọn ajínigbé náà ní ìpínlẹ̀ Kogi. Ìròyìn lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́ ààrẹ orílẹ̀-èdè wa Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu ti wí pé orílẹ̀-èdè yìí ní àfojúsùn láti ṣe ìrónilágbára fún ẹ̀ka nǹkan ọ̀sìn pẹ̀lú oye owó tó tó bílíọ̀nù $32 lọ́dọọdún. Ààrẹ wí pé èyí wà lára ìgbìyànjú ìjọba àpapọ̀ láti rí pé orílẹ̀-èdè yìí ó tún rókè sí nípa ìpèsè àti ìṣàkóso nǹkan ọ̀sìn lórílẹ̀-èdè Áfíríkà. Ààrẹ orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà sọ̀rọ̀ yìí lọ́jọ́ Ajé ní Àbújá níbi ayẹyẹ kẹsàn-án èyí tó wáyé lórí nǹkan ọ̀sìn àti nǹkan ọ̀gbìn ní àgbáyé. Wọ́n ní ayẹyẹ yìí jẹ́ ìmúpadàbọ̀sípò nǹkan ọ̀sìn àti ọ̀gbìn ní ilẹ̀ Áfíríkà àti ààbò fún oúnjẹ lágbàáyé. Níbi ayẹyẹ yìí ni akọ̀wé ìjọba fún èyí tó ṣojú ààrẹ níbi ayẹyẹ náà wípé ìjọba àpapọ̀ ṣetán láti ṣàtúnṣe níbi ẹ̀ka ti nǹkan ọ̀sìn láti sọ ọ́ di ńlá pẹ̀lú ìrànlọ́wọ́ ìmọ̀ ẹ̀rọ ti sáyẹ́ǹsì. Pípèsè ààbò tó dájú fún ètò ìlera. Fún àjọ tó ń rí sí ọ̀rọ̀ ètò ìlera àjọ WHO, pípèsè ààbò tó dájú fún ètò ìlera ẹni ṣe kókó níbi tí àwọn ènìyàn ti láǹfààní láti máa san owó díẹ̀díẹ̀ sínú ìṣúra ètò ìlera wọn sílẹ̀ torí ìgbà tí wọ́n bá ń ṣe àìsàn. Èyí kàkà kí wọ́n sanwó ìtọ́jú lẹ́ẹ̀kan náà lásìkò yìí, inú àpò ìṣúra ti ètò ìlera wọn ni wọ́n ò ti yọ̀ wò. Àwọn àjọ yìí wípé gbígba ìtọ́jú ní àwọn ilé ìwòsàn wa lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà ó ti di nǹkan tí ó lágbára jù fún àwọn ènìyàn, èyí tó sì máa ń le fún ogunlọ́gọ̀ ọmọ Nàìjíríà láti lè gba ìtọ́jú tó péye nílé ìwòsàn nítorí àìsí owó lásìkò tí wọ́n nílò rẹ̀ fún ìlera wọn. Láti lè gbógun ti ìṣòro yìí, kí àlàáfíà tó péye kó lè wà fún ẹ̀mí àwọn ọmọ orílẹ̀‐èdè yìí, àfi kí ìjọba pèsè àpò ìṣúra fún ètò ìlera àwọn ènìyàn kí wọ́n lè máa dáwó sínú rẹ̀ díẹ̀díẹ̀ títí di àsìkò tí wọ́n yóò nílò rẹ̀ fún ìlera wọn. Alábòójútó àti olórí lóbìnrin tó jẹ́ olùṣàkóso ti ọdún Ọ̀ṣun Òṣogbo ó ṣàtìlẹ́yìn fún arúgbá obìnrin ọmọ ọdún 10 èyí tó rúgbá lọ́dún yìí lẹ́yìn táwọn ènìyàn wí pé ìwà ìtọ́ ni ó jẹ́ láti gbé igbá ru ọmọ ọdún 10. Àràbà ti ìpínlẹ̀ Òṣogbo Ìfàyèmí Ẹlẹ́bùíbọn ó ti fọwọ́ sọ̀yà lórí àṣà wọn fún yíyan ọmọbìnrin fún arúgbá ti ọdún Ọ̀ṣun Òṣogbo, èyí tí àwọn ènìyàn sì ń wí pé ìwà ìtọ́gbà ni ìwà tí ó wù yìí. Arábìnrin yìí wí pé jíjẹ́ arúgbá ó jẹ́ àǹfààní tó dára fún ọmọ náà ju ohun tí àwọn ènìyàn ń sọ lọ́wọ́. Ó wí pé Ifá ló máa ń yan àwọn arúgbá láti àwọn ìdílé ọba, tó sì jẹ́ wípé ọmọbìnrin tó rúgbà
Good morning, listeners at home. Good morning, students, parents, and our dear teachers at home. And good morning to all lovers of knowledge around the globe. You are welcome once again to another exciting edition of Class on Air, here Oxygen FM 96.9, the station that it informs, inspires, and ignites. I'm your host, Jamil Rashid. I welcome you all, and I sincerely appreciate your interest in our educational program. Today, we are here to learn, to share knowledge, and most importantly, to make mathematics easier and more interesting for everyone. Our subject for today is mathematics, and our main topic is indices. However, our focus today is very important subtopic under indices called exponential equation. Before we go into today's lesson, let me remind you that mathematics is not just a subject we learn in classroom. It is a subject we encounter in everyday lives. Indices and exponential equations that I want to do today have application in science, technology, finance, population growth, and many other areas of science. So listeners, I encourage you to stay with me throughout this program and pay close attention. And remember, Class on Air is not only by listening. You can also visit Facebook page and YouTube channel, Oxygen 96.9 FM, where you can clearly see what we are teaching and follow the mathematics step visually for better understanding. Because in mathematics, what you see, you know, what you hear, you know, what you see, you understand, and what you do, you remember. So don't just listen, watch, practice, and participate. Before I begin today's lesson, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to the station manager, my studio engineer, and above all the entire management of Oxygen FM 96.9, situated at 121-123 Obafemi Awolowo Way, Okeado, Ibadan, for making every program on this station informative, engaging, enjoyable, and interesting for our listeners. I would like to start my explanation from the summary of last class, which is law of indices. And from law of indices, let's take for example, if you take a number like 8 can be expressed as 2 times 2 times 2, which is 2 raised to the power 3. So that 3 is called exponents, and we can even call it power. And from the first law, which is a multiplication law. In multiplication law, we can have instance of a x raised to the power a times x raised to the power b, which is equal to x raised to the power a plus b. This law can only be old when they have the same base. What we call base here is x. X is common to both of them, and the x have the same base. So when you have the same base, that's why you can use that rule. But if you don't have the same base, we cannot use that law of indices to do it. So for example, we have 3 raised to the power 5 times 3 raised to the power 2. It can be written as 3 raised to the power 5 plus 2. That's 3 raised to the power 7. Number 2, you did something like division law. And division law is when you have x raised to the power a divided by x raised to the power b. So when you add division between them and they have the same base, then we have to minus their power, which is x raised to the power a minus b. For instance, when you have 3 raised to the power 5 divided by 3 raised to the power 2, we can have it as 3 raised to the power 5 minus 2. Why is it 3 raised to the power 3? The other one is called power law. Power law is when you have two power, like if you have something like x raised to the power a into x raised to the power into power of b 2. We can write that x raised to the power ab. I can explain more than when I use number. If I have 5 raised to the power 2 raised to the power 3, it means that I have to write 5 raised to the power 2 in 3 places, which is 5 raised to the power 2 times 5 raised to the power 2 times 5 raised to the power 2. And when you use law of indices for that, we are going to have 5 raised to the power 2 plus 2 plus 2, which is 5 raised to the power 6. But if I don't want to go through that process, I can use this direct law, which says we have to multiply it by power together. So which means we just multiply the power. When we have 5 raised to the power 2 raised to the power 3, you can just use the 5 raised to the power 2 times 3, and that's 5 raised to the power 6. Number 4, we have zero index. In a zero index, when you have a power of 0, that is, we have x raised to the power 0 is 1. Why is it 1? I will explain by each number. If you have 2 raised to the power 3 divided by 2 raised to the power 3, if I don't want to use 2 raised to the power 3, I can say, okay, 8 divided by 8 is 1. Why is it 1? Because 8 can be expressed as 2 raised to the power 3, and not 2 raised to the power 3. And when you divide, you use the second law, which is called division law. When you use that second law, it means you have going to have the 2 raised to the power 3 divided by 2 raised to the power 2 can be written as 2 raised to the power 3 minus 2, which is 2 raised to the power 0. And that is why we have 1 when we divide the number by itself. Number 5, we have negative index. Negative index is when you have negative power. So we have something like x raised to the power a, which is equal to 1 over x raised to the power a. Sorry, x raised to the power minus a is equal to 1 over x raised to the power a. So whenever we have negative power, we take the reciprocal of that number by not putting negative. E.g., if you have 1 over 25, 1 over 25 can also be written as index of negative, which is 1 over 5 raised to the power 2. Don't forget that 25 is the same time 5 raised to the power 2. So you can written as 1 over 5 raised to the power 2, which is equal to 5 raised to the power minus 2. Number 6, fraction index. When you have fraction as power, and this is very, very important. If you have fraction as power, if you have something like x raised to the power 1 over a, that is if 1 over a is the power of x, so we are going to write it as 8 root of x. We call it 8 root of x. But when you have x raised to the power, instead of 1 over b, if you have something like a over b, you can have x raised to the power 1 over a over b can be written as x raised to the power 1 over b times each bracket power of a. That is, you can express 1 over a over b as 1 over b times a. So when you express that, the one inside the bracket, which is x raised to the power 1 over b, can be written as bit root of x. So I want to put it together. I will have open bracket b root of x raised to the power a. E.g., if you look at 27 raised to the power 2 over 3, the 27 raised to the power 2 over 3 can be expressed as cube root of 27. Why do we use cube root of 27? Because the denominator we have as power is 3. So we have to take cube root of 27. After taking cube root of 27, don't forget that we have 2 as numerator. So we have to write the cube root of 27 all of power of 2. And when we are talking of cube root of 27, it means a number that can multiply 3 times by itself to give off 27, which is 3. If you look at that, we have 3 times 3 times 3, we give off 27. So if you do that, if you take the cube root of 27, we are going to have 3. And don't forget that we have power 2 there. So when we take the power of 2, which is 3 squared, we are going to have 9. Another way of doing that, if you don't want to use the roots to solve that problem, you can write that 27 raised to the power 2 over 3 as, don't forget that 27 can be written as 3 raised to the power 3. So multiply by the existing power, which is 2 over 3. So if you do that, if 3 cancel 3, we are going to have 2 left. So that's why we are going to have 3 raised to the power 2, and that is 9. So what I just explained last, that's our last topic. But today we are moving to another topic, which is under the indices and as exponential equations. And when we are talking of exponential equation, it's an equation in which a variable appears in the exponent or power of a number. So for example, if you take I think I talked about 2 raised to the power 3 other time, and that's index form. So when we have unknown number which appear on our index form on our exponent power, which is equal to another number, it means that one is called an exponential equation. Example is 2 raised to the power x is equal to 16. Another one is 5 raised to the power x plus 1. If the x plus 1 are the power, 5 raised to the power x plus 1 is equal to 125. It's another example of exponential equation, and we have 3 raised to the power 3x minus 1 is equal to 27. That is another example of exponential equation. So in each of these equations, the unknown variable x is the exponent, making them to be what? To be exponential equations. So when you have unknown variable x are the exponents on the equation, we call them exponential equation. So let us look at examples. When you have 2 raised to the power x is equal to 8, it means when we have something like this, it means when you are talking of 2 raised to the power x or no number, we can take it as 2 raised to the power dash is equal to 8. From that, you're able to think that it should be 3, because 2 raised to the power 3 is equal to 8. But if you ask that the same question in the exam, you don't just write 3. You are going to work it step by steps. So if you want to solve this particular problem, 2 raised to the power x is equal to 8, we need to express them to the same base. The same base means that we can express that 8 to be 2 raised to the power 3. And don't forget that 8 is equal to 2 times 2 times 2. So when you express that 8 to be 2 raised to the power 3, so we are going to have 2 raised to the power x is equal to 2 raised to the power 3. Now we have the same base. So by comparing the bases and equating the exponents, we have x is equal to 3. So x can only be equal to 3 if both of them have the same basis. But if we don't have the same base, we can't write that x is equal to 3. So for this one, we have x 2 raised to the power x, which is equal to 2 raised to the power 3, implies that x is equal to 3 since we have the same base. This is another example. We have 3 raised to the power 2x minus 1. That 2x minus 1, they are exponents. So 3 raised to the power 2x minus 1 is equal to 27. For us to solve this particular problem, that 27 can also be expressed as in base 3. Base 3 means that we can think of a number that we can multiply 3 times to give us 27. And that is 3 times 3 times 3. That's 3 raised to the power 3. So we have to express it in base 3 so that we can have the same base both left and right side. So 3 raised to the power 2x minus 1 can now be 3 raised to the power 3. What is that 3 raised to the power 3? Is that 27 that become 3 raised to the power 3. So since we now have the same base means that we have 3 at both left. The same base is as 3 on both left side and right side. So when you have the same base, we compare the base and then we equate the exponent. When we equate the exponents, then we have 2 raised to the power x minus 1 is equal to 3. The exponent is everything as power. So when we equate the same power, we have 2 raised to the power x is equal to the power x minus 1 is equal to 3. And by collecting like terms, we have 2 raised to the power x is equal to 3 plus 1. After having 2 raised to the power x minus 1 equal to 3, if we collect like term the left, we are going to have 2 raised to the power x. 2x is equal to 3 plus 1. And when you have 3 plus 1, we have 4. Then we have 2 raised to the power x is equal to 4. The next step is to divide both sides by 2. When you divide both sides by 2, we are going to have 4 divided by 2. If you divide 2x by 2, we have x. Then if you divide 4 by 2, we have 2. Now we have x is equal to 2. And that x is equal to 2 is the solution for 3 raised to the power x. 3 raised to the power 2x minus 1 is equal to 27. Another example is 9 raised to the power x is equal to 27. 9 raised to the power x is equal to 27. If you look at this, we have 9 raised to the power, we have 9 at right side, we have 27 at left side. Yeah, it's not possible for us to express 9 raised to the power something to give us 27. So it's not possible. The next thing to do is to change both of them to the same base. Because you cannot say, if you say 9 raised to power 1 is 9, 9 raised to power 2 is 81, which is more than 27. So it's not possible to change 27 to base 9. So the next thing to do is to change that 9 to base 3 and change 27 to base 3 as well. So 3 raised to power 2 will give us 9. So that's we have that 9 raised to power x can be written as 3 raised to power 2x. And 27 also can be written as 3 raised to power 3. So we now have, for 9x is equal to 27, we are going to have 3 raised to power 2x is equal to 3 raised to power 3. Now, by comparing the base and the exponents, we are going to have 2x is equal to 3. 2x is equal to 3. From 3 raised to power 2x is equal to 3 raised to power 3. We are going to have 2x is equal to 3. And the next thing is to divide both sides by 2. When we divide both sides by 2, we are going to have x is equal to 3 over 2. Because when you divide 2x by 2, we are going to have x. Divide 3 by 2, we are going to have 3 over 2. And that 3 over 2 is the solution for 9 raised to power x is equal to 27. Another one is this. The another example we have here says that we to find the value of x if 0.125 raised to power x is equal to 4. 0.125 raised to power x is equal to 4. This 0.125 will not be easy for us to take as base 2 or any base. On x, we take it to fraction. So we can take this 0.125 to fraction, and which can be written as 125 over 1000. Why is it 125 over 1000? We have three figures after points. So when we add 3 figures after points, we can write it as 125 over 1000 raised to power x is equal to 4. So 125 can go in both numerator, which is 125 and 1000. So 125 in 125 is 1. Then 125 in 1000 is 8. So that is why we have 1 over 8 all raised to power of x is equal to 4. And if you look at the 8 we have there, 8 can be written as 2 raised to power 3. So we are going to have 1 over 2 raised to power 3 instead of 8. You can write 1 over 2 raised to power 3 all raised to power x is equal to 4. And by applying the negative index law, this 1 over 2 raised to power 3 can be written as 2 raised to power minus 3. Then all raised to power x is equal to 4. So when you multiply the power minus 3 by x, we are going to have minus 3x. So we are going to have 2 raised to power minus 3x is equal to 2 raised to power 2. What we call that 2 raised to power 2 is that 4. You know, I mentioned 4 that is equal to 4 is equal to 4. That is equal to 4 can becomes 2 raised to power 2 because 2 raised to power 2 means 2 times 2, which is equal to 4. So we have 2 raised to power minus 3x is equal to 2 raised to power 2. And the next thing to do here is compare the bases. Since we have the same base both left and right, which is 2. So we compare the equate their power, then we now have minus 3 raised to power x is equal to 2. Divide both sides by minus 3. So when you divide minus 3 by minus 3x, we are going to have x, and divide minus 3 by 2, we are going to have minus 2 over 3. So minus 2 over 3 is the solution for 0.125 raised to power x is equal to 4. Another example is to solve this value of look for value of x here. When we have 8 raised to power x is equal to 1 all over 4 raised to power 2x minus 1. That 2x minus 1 is exponent and power or power. So the next thing you can do here is that 4 and 8 cannot be expressed to this. It can be expressed to the same base, but we cannot express 4 in base 2, and we cannot express 2 in base 4. So what we can do here is to express both 4 and 8 to base 2, which is very easy for us to do like that. So we can take that x to be 2 raised to power 3. So 8 raised to power x now becomes 2 raised to power 3x. But the 4 raised to power 2x minus 1 we have there can be written as 2 raised to power 2 open bracket 2x minus 1. Why do you put bracket? Because we have expression there. We don't have only term. So we have 2 there. We have to go to these 2 go to affect both 2x and minus 1. So we have to put bracket to it. So therefore 8 raised to power x is equal to 1 over 4 raised to power 2x minus 1 becomes 2 raised to power 3x is equal to 1 all over 2 raised to power 2 open bracket 2x minus 1 close bracket. So by applying the negative index law to remove this 1, so we are going to have 2 raised to power 3x is equal to 2 raised to power minus 2 open bracket 2x minus 1. That minus 2 has removed the 1 as numerator that we have there. If you want to write negative index, so that's how you write it. Then if you compare their bases, you know we have the same base now, which is 2. So by comparing their bases and equate their exponents, so we are going to have 3 raised to power 3x is equal to minus 2 open bracket 2x minus 1. So by open bracket of the right hand side, we have minus 4x plus 2. Why is it minus 4x? 2 times minus 2 times 2x is equal to minus 4x, then minus 2 times 1 is equal to 2. So we have it in a line that 3x is equal to minus 4x plus 2. So by collecting like term, you can collect like term by adding 4x to both sides. When you add 4x to both sides, 4x plus 3x is equal to 7. 4x minus 4x, that's 0. So we are going to have 3x plus 4x is equal to minus 4x plus 4x plus 2. So minus 4x plus 4 is equal to 0. Then 3x plus 4 is equal to 7. So we are going to have 7x is equal to 2. When you have 7x is equal to 2, next is to divide both sides by 2. So when you divide 7x by 7, we have x. And when you divide 7 by 2, we have 7 over 2. So x is equal to 7 over 2. The solution for 8 raised to power x is equal to 1 over 4 raised to power x minus 1. Another problem we have here is find the value of m in 8 raised to power minus 1 times 2 raised to power 2m plus 1 equals 64. 8 raised to power minus 1 times 2 raised to the power 2m plus 1 equals 64. So this 8 raised to the power minus 1, let us deal with them one by one so that we can take all of them to the same base, the same basis. So this 8 can be written as 2 raised to the power 3, and don't forget we have power minus 1 there. So when we write this 8 as 2 raised to the power 3, we are going to multiply by the existing minus 1 that we have there. So we are going to have 2 raised to the power minus 3 there. Then times 2 raised to the power 2m plus 1 is equal to 64. This 64 can be written as 2 raised to the power 6. So 64 can be written as 2 raised to the power 6. So we are going to have 2 raised to the power 3 times minus 1 times 2 raised to the power 2 plus 1 is equal to 2 raised to the power 6. So by multiplying the power minus 3 to minus 1, then we have 2 raised to the power minus 3 times 2 raised to the power 2m plus 1 is equal to 2 raised to the power 6. So by applying the law, addition law, multiplication law of indices to the right hand side, to the left hand side of the equation, we have 2 raised to the power minus 3 plus 2m plus 1 is equal to 2 raised to the power 6. After adding the expression in power together, or exponents, we are going to have 2 raised to the power m minus 2 is equal to 2 raised to the power 6. What do we have minus 2? Minus 3 plus 1 is minus 2. So that's we have minus 2 there. So the m still remain, 2m still remain the same. So 2 raised to the power 2m minus 2 is equal to 2 raised to the power 6. By compare the bases and equate the exponents, we have 2m minus 2 is equal to 6. Then collecting like term, 2m is equal to 6 plus 2. 2m is equal to 6 plus 2. And 6 plus 2 is equal to 8. Therefore, we have 2m is equal to 8. 2m is equal to 8. By dividing both out by 2, 2m divided by 2 is m. Then 8 divided by 2 is 4. So m is equal to 4 is a solution of 8 raised to the power minus m times 2 raised to the power 2m plus 1 is equal to 64. Our next problem is not an equation but an expression. It's an advanced expression to what we did last week. So this one says to simplify 4 open brackets 2 raised to the power n plus 1 close brackets minus 2 raised to the power n plus 1 all over 2 raised to the power n plus 1 minus 2 raised to the power n. The general way of solving this problem is to express all of them into base 2 because we have a lot of base 2 there. So it means that 4 also can be written in base 2. So this 4 can be written as 2 raised to the power 2. But according to the law of indices, when you have 2 raised to the power n plus 1, it is the same thing as 2 raised to the power n times 2 raised to the power 1. Because according to the law, which is x raised to the power a times x raised to the power b is equal to x raised to the power a plus b. So it means that x raised to the power a plus b can also be written as x raised to the power a times x raised to the power b. So this 2 raised to the power n plus 1 can be written as 2 raised to the power n times 2 raised to the power 1. So these 4 open brackets 2 raised to the power n plus 1 close brackets minus 2 raised to the power n plus 1 all over 2 raised to the power n plus 1 minus 2 raised to the power n will be equal to 4 open brackets 2 raised to the power n times 2 raised to the power 1, because I told you that 2 raised to the power n plus 1 can be written as 2 raised to the power n times 2 raised to the power 1 minus 2 raised to the power n times 2 raised to the power 1, because we still have another 2 raised to the power n plus 1 there, so we can write that 2 raised to the power n times 2 raised to the power 1 all over 2 raised to the power n times 2 raised to the power 1. We have a lot of 2 raised to the power n times 2 raised to the power 1 here. So minus 2 raised to the power n. If you look at that expression, we can multiply the first term we have there is 4 times 2 raised to the power n times 2. 4 times 2 raised to the power n times 2 at the numerator, At the numerator, we have 4 times 2 raised to the power n times 2. So that means you can multiply 4 by 2, but we can multiply by 2 raised to the power n. So we can multiply 4 by 2 to give us 8. So we are going to have 8 times 2 raised to the power n. Now, the one that have 2 raised to the power n times 2 also can be written as 2 into bracket 2 raised to the power n, because we are multiplying them together. So we are having 8 into bracket 2 raised to the power n minus 2 open bracket 2 raised to the power n all over 2 open bracket 2 raised to the power n close bracket minus 2 raised to the power n. Now if you look at this, if you look at numerator, the common term we have there is n. If you like, you can subtract it directly, because if you have 8 into bracket 2 raised to the power n minus 2 into bracket 2 raised to the power n, 2 raised to the power n, 2 raised to the power n is the same thing. It's like we are saying 8x minus 2x, which is 6x. So you can just say 8 into bracket 2 raised to the power n minus 2 into bracket 2 raised to the power n is equal to 6 into bracket 2 raised to the power n, if you want to do it like that. And if you still want to factorize, we say that okay, 2 raised to the power n is common to both of them. So if you factorize 2 raised to the power n out, we are going to have 2 raised to the power n into brackets 8 minus 2 all over if you look at numerator 2, we have 2 into brackets 2 raised to the power n minus 2. 2 raised to the power n also common to both of them. So I factorize 2 raised to the power n out, so I have 2 minus 1 inside the bracket. So I now have 2 raised to the power n into bracket 8 minus 2 all over 2 raised to the power n into bracket 2 minus 1. Don't forget the 2 raised to the power n divided by 2 raised to the power n is 1. According to law of indices, we say 2 raised to the power n divided by 2 raised to the power n is equal to 2 raised to the power n minus n, which is 2 raised to the power n, 2 raised to the power 0. This is 1. So 2 raised to the power n, we cancel 2 raised to the power n, which is equal to 1. We equal to 1 when you divide this. So 8 minus 2 is 6. Then 2 minus 1 is 1. So we have 6 over 1. And when you divide 6 by 1, we are going to have 6 as answer for that. This section is we are already interactive section, so you can call in to ask question, and before I will open the studio line, I will call the question out so that you can work it out. Before you call in, you can be able to tell me the answer. So one of the problems is this: solve for x in 5 raised to the power x is equal to 1 over 125. 5 raised to the power x is equal to 1 all over 125. number is 070 47 00 49. Sorry, 070 47 00 3969. 070 47 00 3969 or 070 47 00 2969. If you have question of all what you have done, you can call in and ask your question. Call and ask any question. And this question is for you too. Solve for x in 5 raised to the power x is equal to 1 all over 125. 5 raised to the power x is equal to 1 all over 125. Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Good morning.
Good morning. What's your name?
Kola Olebelo
Where are you calling from?
from Salvation Army.
Do you want to ask question on what
I
you have
want
done?
to answer the question.
Okay, you want to answer the question. So what's the answer for 5 raised to the power x is equal to 1 over 125?
X is equal to minus 3.
S is equal to minus 3. Can you explain, give us the breakdown of your answer?
I can't hear you.
Can you explain it, how you arrived to that answer?
That answer, okay. First of all, 5 raised to power x is equal to 1 over 125. So 125 can be expressed as 5 raised to power 3. So we are going to say 5 raised to power x is equal to 1 over 5 raised to power 3. So, which means 5 raised to power is equal to 5 using, what is this formula?
Negative index.
What is negative index law?
Okay.
So 5 raised to power x is equal to 5 raised to power minus 3. So we are going to compare the base, right? So x is equal to minus 3.
Fantastic, correct. I still have another question for you for callers. Another question is find the value of x if 0.5 raised to the power x is equal to 32. Find the value of x if 0.5 raised to the power x is equal to 32.
Ibadan.
Can you handle this? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Turn it up, cause it's getting heavy.
I know the place.
And this how we gonna do it. So crazy right now. Your station, your heartbeat. Oxygen FM 96.9 Ibadan.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hello. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Ekiro Samuel.
What's the name of your school?
The name of my school is Sonke Brilliant College.
Okay. Do you want to answer my question? Want to ask question on what we have done?
Yes, sir.
You want to answer question?
Yes.
Okay. Which question?
I want to answer the question you called for us.
Is it the first one or second one?
The second one.
Okay. What's the answer?
Minus 32.
Minus 32?
Yes.
Okay. How did you arrive to your answer?
I turned the 0.5 to fraction. Is equal to 5 over 10 raised to power x is equal to 32.
Oh,
So,
no.
and the 5 can divide 10. So I divide 5 by 5 is equal to 1. And 5 by 10 is equal to 2. Is equal to 1 over 2 is equal to 32.
No, it's not correct. It's not like that.
So 1 over 2 raised to power minus 1x is equal to 32.
Just
so
let me bail out on that. That 0.5 can be expressed as 5 over 10. It can be expressed as 5 over 10, which is 1 over 2. So we are going to have 2 raised to power minus x is equal to 32. So that 32 can be expressed as 2 raised to power 5. So we have 2 raised to power minus s is equal to 5. So we have s equal to minus 5. So because of time, thank you for listening to Class on Air on Oxygen FM 96.9. Continue to study diligently. Remain curious, stay focused. Always remember that education is a great source of personal power. Until next lesson, stay safe, keep learning, keep shining. I'm your host, Jami Rashid. Thank you for listening and have a wonderful day.